Hello and welcome back to Cooking with Ollie. Today we are making aardappel anders, which means potato different. But I don't think that's the same name in English. But yeah, it's a bit of a special recipe that we got here. Yeah, it's gonna be very delicious. So let's take a little look first at, of course, the ingredients. We have some broccoli right here, and we also have some cauliflower. Now you can use either only broccoli or only cauliflower or a mix of both of them, like we're doing right now. That doesn't matter. If you have a preference in one of the two, you can use only that one. Then we also have the actual mixture for the aardappel anders. You see right here. This is the one we're using today. Then we have a onion. We got some garlic. We have some veggie meat. Now, usually we use a little different one than this one, but hey, today we're using falafel. Doesn't really matter all that much. It should still be quite tasty. We also have quite a bit of potatoes, a whole kilo of them. And then we have some little cheese parts as well. Now what we're going to start off with is washing off the broccolis. Okay. So what we're going to be doing is we got, of course, our broccoli right here. I got a little knife. We're just going to be cutting them off at the top here and putting them in a little bit of water here. Of course, if there's a little bit of the leaves on there still, like this one, you just want to take that off, make sure that doesn't go in, because they don't taste all that good. So yeah, we're going to be doing that first for the entirety of our broccoli, and then we're going to be moving on. Alright, so what we're going to be doing now is, you can see we have the whole stem basically of the broccoli left, and we're going to be cutting that up in really tiny little pieces. So let's see, I'm just going to turn it around here, go like this. Make small pieces out of this, and then once you've made those nice and small, all the way to roughly around here, this is not really usable, you want to also make these a little bit smaller, so like so. And there we go. And once they're all really nice and small, you can actually add that to the other parts of the broccoli. Make the most of the broccoli that you got, right? So you want it to be basically pieces as small as these. And then, as I said, you just add those in there. And we're going to be doing the same with this little stem, and then also with the cauliflower that we got over. So at this point, it's the bowl is quite filled, of course. We're going to just wash off our broccoli and cauliflower here, doing it a little bit with hand. Of course, I have washed my own hands as well, otherwise this would be kind of useless, of course. But yeah, there we go. And then once that is all nice and clean, you just want to, put it through this thing. So there we go. Up. And there we go. Up. Now, before we do anything with that, it's just gonna, let the water go out a little bit more over time as well. We got our potatoes here, and I'm just gonna cut open the package, and I'm gonna be putting those potatoes in a little boiling pan that we got here. So, boom, that is one package of the potatoes. There we go. And then, of course, we have another one. And we're going to be putting those in there as well. Look at that, beautiful. And then we're going to be adding the broccoli and the cauliflower in there as well. So there we go. Make sure every piece is in there. There we go. And what we're going to be doing now is starting to boil this. Alright, so what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be taking the pan, putting it on a nice little pitch here. Boom. And we were already a little bit prepared and already boiled up some water. So here we go, we got some boiled water, and we're going to be adding that in there. So there we go. And we make sure we put in quite so we put all of the boiling water in there. Now we're going to put up the heat quite nice and high so that the water actually starts to boil. And then we're going to, of course, put our lid on it and give that a little second to start boiling up. So while the the broccoli and the potatoes and the cauliflower is starting to boil up, we got an onion here and we got some garlic here, and we're gonna go ahead and peel those and get those ready as well. So of course we take off the bottom part here first. This one is a little hard, but there we go. And then we also take off the top here. There we go, and we just start peeling this, of course. Alright, so we got our onion peeled and now ready to be cut. So that's what we're gonna do. Cut it up real quick and then it will be nice. And yeah, we want to make these nice and small pieces. So let's go. Alright, so as you can see, I might have some tears in my eyes, and you might be like, oh, that's because you cannot handle the onions. But no, it's actually because of how proud I am of just how well they are cut right now. So if you take a little look, this is what you want the onions to look like once you're done. And yeah, we're going to be doing the same thing with our little garlic as well. That's right over here. So yeah, we'll be back in a second. Now, before we do the actual garlic cutting and stuff like that, we're already gonna put up another pitch here. Oh, there we go. And we're gonna be putting this little pan on that. And before we do anything, we of course take a little bit of olive oil and put a healthy amount in there. So something like that should do just about fine. And we're just gonna let that heat up. We're just gonna let that heat up for a hot second, so that it's ready for our meat and the onions and the garlic. So once the garlic and the onions are all nice and cut up, like they are right now, look at that, beautiful. You're gonna go ahead and put that all into that pan with the olive oil. So there we go, carefully put that all in there. And alright, nice. And now, we can start putting up the heat a little bit and stirring this all around a bit. And this is just gonna solder in the oil for a hot second here. So as I said, we are using falafel today for the meat, so to call it. And we are gonna try and cut these bad boys up into 4 pieces. Of course, falafel doesn't always allow that, but these look to be quite nice. So yeah, we're just gonna cut these up into 4 pieces, all of them, and then we're gonna be adding those in by the onions and the garlic. Okie dokie, so there we go. The falafel is now all cut into tiny little pieces. Oh, we got a little clock going off as well. So yeah, the falafel is now all done. We're of course gonna add that in with the onions and the garlic here. So there we go. Sure everything is actually going into the pan. Boom. All right, nice. And there we go. Now immediately we want to go ahead and shake and stir this all up, of course. Make sure all the onion or all the falafel gets nicely mixed in with the other stuff here. There we go. And while we were busy with this, the potatoes and the broccoli and the cauliflower are all done boiling. They need to boil for around 5 minutes-ish, a little more, a little less, and they are done with that now. So we've already gone ahead and put the fire off, so they're no longer, boiling anymore. And while this is doing its thing, we'll quickly go and wash those off in a second as well. Okay, so here we have our beautiful big pan of, all the special stuff. We're gonna slowly pour this into our little thing here. There we go. And not too much, because it will be completely filled if we put in too much. So a little bit more. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. There's a lot of steam coming off of it, but that's fine. And what we're gonna be doing with that is, of course, quickly go ahead and wash that off again, so that it's not too hot either. So there we go. And what we're gonna do is in portions. Put that all in here. So there we go. And you can see we got a nice little mixture of the the broccoli and the potatoes and the cauliflower there. And we're just gonna do that in a couple of batches. So there we go, another batch here. Boom. And you know what? I think we can do it all in one go here with this last one. There we go. Wash that off again. There we go. We're gonna quickly take a little break here and go ahead and, mix our little pan here. There we go, look at that. I know you cannot smell it, but boy, this is starting to smell quite good. So yeah, that is always a good little sign here. And yeah, that is looking good as well. All right, back to the potatoes and everything else. There we go. Make sure it's all nicely washed off. There, make it all drip out. There we go. And put that batch boy in there as well. There we go. Make sure everything goes in. There we go. And look at that. That's just a good old bowl of deliciousness right here. And we're going to put that aside for now. Just keep it here. And, keep a close eye on our falafel and everything else here until this is all finished. There we go. Alrighty. So, that is done. This is done. You all know what's next now. I mean, you can just already guess it, I think. We're going to basically be doing the same thing as we did with the lasagna. So we're going to be making a little layer out of these things. Just a small layer on the bottom here. There we go. All the way around. Boom. And we'll, make sure it's all nicely spread out here. There we go. And then we're going to take our, meat pan, so to call it. I'm going to quickly put this over here, make nice amount of space. There we go. We're going to take this and we're going to do the same thing now with this one. Just a nice little layer on top. Like so. Not all of it. Boom. Now we're going to make sure this is all nicely spread out as well. Because I didn't do a good job with that while I was putting it in. But that's fine. And there we go. That is nicely spread out now. Then we got our sauce, so to call it. And we're gonna be taking that and making a nice amount on the next layer here. There we go. Not too much. Make sure that is all nicely spread out here as well. Just a little mixture of everything. There we go. And then we're back to the vegetables. Wow. Alright, another layer of the vegetables. There we go. And we're actually gonna finish this layer now off with the vegetables, so that's all in there. Now it is. There we go. Once again, spread that all out nicely here. And then we're gonna be doing the same thing with the meat parts again. So we're gonna be putting those all over here as well. And of course, make sure I get every single piece that's in this pan here within the, the whole thing that we got going on here. There we go. Spread that out once more time. And then we're going to finish off by putting all of the sauce on top of this. So, there we go. And what we got here is a little floopy whooper, as you can see. And we're going to be using that in order to go into this, can, so to call it, and we're gonna floop all of the excess sauce out of it because there's a lot left in there that's just really stubborn. So we gotta, give it a little nudge here in order to get it out. I mean, just look at the extra amount of sauce that we're getting out of this thing now. All right. So what we're gonna do now that it's all, mixed and menged in there, well, it's not mixed and menged just yet. It's all filled in there. What we're gonna do is just go around and stir this all up just a little bit. Now you need to be careful because as you can see, our little thing is quite full already, so it can, go off the sides quite quickly. So you don't want to be doing that because that will kind of just waste your food. So slowly and carefully, just stir this all up, making sure that every part of the pan is basically filled with sauce. You want as much sauce in as many nooks and cranny in this thing as you can. You want the sauce to be everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Every time you take a little bite out of this recipe, you want a bit of sauce with that as well. So just go ahead and stir it all nicely like so until you're like, okay, this is ready. Now once you're like, okay, this is nice and ready, I've gone ahead and flatten it all out a little bit. There we go. And then we got some cheese right here, and we're going to be putting that nicely on top of it. Okay. So we're going to be putting the whole bag of cheese on here now. So we're just going to go ahead and do it like this. Nicely spread all of it out. Now what I like to do is make one layer of the cheese first. See how well I've spread it. And then go back and make another layer. So like so. And oh my goodness, all of the cheese is... Oh, okay, there we go. And that is all of the cheese. Now this is a lot of cheese. But hey, who doesn't like a nice bit of cheese on their aardappel anders, right? I mean, I love it. So don't be too scared to put too much cheese on it. More than this would be too much though, so be scared of that. But this is fine. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, Make sure it's all nicely spread out, of course. And boom, bam, babala, boom, beam, bum. That's it, done. All right. Okay, so here we have our big bowl, so to say, of aardappel anders, but it's not done yet. I know. Anyway, we're going to be putting it in the oven now. So there we go. And what you want to do is put it at around 200 degrees. A little bit more, that's okay. But around 200 degrees for around 35 minutes. So yeah, we're going to give this a hot second. And then in a second we'll check up on it and see how it looks. So yeah, be right back. Okay, so the oven, it's done. We're a little bit over half an hour later now, and that is smelling quite good. It is now completely finished, so let's have a little look-see here at the end result, so to say. Ooh, would you look at that? That is looking beautiful. So yeah, there we go. Here we have our aardappel anders. It is now completely finished. As you can see, there's a nice good layer of melted cheese on top of it, and underneath that there's just a lot of deliciousness. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and eat this in a second now. That's for us. So yeah, that is it. That's how we make the aardappel anders. I hope you maybe try this recipe out. It's actually one of my more favorite dishes. I always really like it. It's nice and filling, and not a lot of food fills me completely, but this one sometimes does, so that is a big plus point for me. Anyway, as I said, that's it finished. I hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all have learned a lot here and are now awakened to the aardappel anders. And I will see you all in the next one. So bye.